Hello, dear friend, dear student, dear learner. Welcome once again to this research training as organized by Ndabaga Impact Organization. Last time we have seen what is research, and we have discovered that research is an organized, systematic, data-based and critical scientific investigation into a specific problem which is undertaken with the objective of finding answers to the solution or the solution to that problem. So there is a problem, and because there is a problem, there is an issue, you need to undertake or to start to prepare an organized, systematic and scientific investigation so as to find a solution to that problem. And we have seen that research is related to seek the information and knowledge on a particular topic or subject. In other words, we have seen that research is an art of systematic investigation. It is a systematic investigation. We tried to see why this research training. Why do you need this training? You as a young man, a young woman, you as a future researcher, you as a learner, as a student. Maybe you are a student in a secondary school, maybe you are a student in a university or in a higher or institution. You need to get skills on research. Whoever has a certain problem or an issue, you will need to find out how you can get solution in a systematic way. So we have seen that the objective of this training aims at building a research spirit in young people to become problem solvers. It seeks also to provide students or young with an understanding of the concepts and techniques of research methods such as qualitative and quantitative and other research methods. We have seen also that this research aims at helping people, especially young Rwandans, to find the solution to the problems that are found in the Rwandan community, such as mental or health problems, financial issues, illiteracy, family problems, and the problems that we find in young people and so on. By understanding and by getting skills in the scientific by using scientific concepts of research, such as research title, problem statement, objective of the research hypothesis, and methodology of research, you will understand that now this is the time for you to write a proposal, to write a thesis, to write a document which can be accepted wherever you can go, and that will also help you to express your ideas and to come up with solutions that are needed. Lastly, we have seen some of the important methods to use in research. Those common methods of research that we have covered are the quantitative method and the qualitative. While the quantitative deals with statistics, the qualitative seeks to see the opinions, the ideas, the characteristics which are expressed in a verbal, in words. Now, today we are going to look at the research process. Each research has steps to follow. So those steps consists of a process that every researcher needs to go through. Research process consists of sequence. It consists of sequence of actions or steps necessary to effectively carry out and the desired progression of these steps. So it consists of sequence of actions or steps that every researcher needs to go through to carry out his or her research. And in the research process, each step is specific and they are separate and distinct from each other. Each step needs to be followed. And the following order relating to various steps provide a useful procedure instruction regarding the research process. So the following research steps or the following way is needed to go through while you are writing, while you are doing your research process. So those steps of research process are the following. Number one, when you are doing your research, the first step for you is to identify your problem, the research problem. You make an identification of research problem. Number two is to write your title, or I mean the topic of your research. It is very important for every research to have a very clear title or topic. We shall see it. Step number three is to write down an introduction or a background of your study, or a background or an introduction of your research. Step number four seeks to define clearly the problem that you are searching. You are searching for a certain issue, a problem, so you need to state clearly that problem. Step number five consists of research questions. Research questions. So those are the questions that you need to write down, and those questions will help you to finally get the solutions to that research problem. Step number six deals with objectives and the purpose of research. Purpose and objectives, each research needs to clearly show the purpose and the objectives. And step number seven deals with hypothesis formulation. How you formulate your hypothesis will help you and will help others who will read your writing or your proposal or your research to understand how you did it scientifically. Step number eight is significance of the study. The significance of the study is very important in your research, and which will be followed by justification of the study or the justification of your research. You need to justify your research. Step number 10 is the limitations of your research. Of course, every research needs to be to have a scope, needs to have the limitations by you as a researcher. And another step to go through after the limitations, actually it goes hand in hand with the limitations, is limitations of research. Every researcher has the limitations in terms of time, of finance, and so on. We shall see it. Step number 11 deals with literature review. The literature review, we'll see it later. It consists of going through other researchers, what they have written, and going through whatever can help you to understand your topic or your subject or your problem. Step number 12 is the research design. The research design is also very important, and that is under the chapter of research methodology, which also will will also use the population and the sample in your research, because you will need maybe to work with a certain number of people, that is called population, and maybe you will need from that population to take a sample from that population so that you can do your study. Number 14, the step number 14 is research instruments or data collection. Data collection is very important. From that population of that sample, then you will get the data, you'll get the information which will help you now to understand your subject or your problem. And after data collection, you will analyze. That step is called data analysis. And after analyzing, then the data will help you to understand the hypothesis that you have set before. Then you will test your hypothesis. Step number 17 in research is known as interpretation of data. Interpretation is very important because it will help you to start to prepare the report of your research, which is step number 18, preparation of the report. Step number 19 is the presentation of the results. Once you have prepared your report, then you need now to present the results, and the other people are waiting to see or to know the results for that you have set in your topic. And finally, you will need in your research proposal or your research thesis to show the references that you have used. That is step number 20, whereby you need to write down the bibliography in a logical and in a following in a sequence, which helps every reader of your document to understand that you are not the one who did that research. There are others who helped you to write or to note what you have found. And of course, in the last steps, you will need to give a timetable, to give yourself a timetable for your research, because every research needs to be done in a certain time, in a timeline, so that you can finish it. And you will need a budget for your research. And finally, another step, which is very important, is to show the annexes which consist of, for example, the questionnaire that you use, the interview, and so other things. Now let's go. Let's see by chapter. Before we go through each step, let's see by chapter. Every research thesis or proposal is made of the following chapters. You need to understand them because they will be a map line. They will be a map for you as a researcher to know which chapter comes first, which chapter will follow, and finally what is the last chapter. So chapter 1 in your research thesis or research proposal is the introduction. I called it introduction because it involves some steps such as the title of research, the problem statement, the objectives, and the justification. All those things needs to be said, they need to be written down under the chapter 1 introduction. And chapter 2 deals with literature review. The review of related literature is following because it is somehow a backbone, or it is a part which will help you to know what other researchers, what other writers have written in line with your research problem. And chapter 3 deals with methodology of research. The methodology that you are going to use, that is actually the steps, the scientific and consecutive steps which needs to be followed, which will help you to see if your results are really fair and which they meet the objectives that you set. Chapter 4 is presentation of results. Presentation of results or findings. There you will need to present your results and write them. And lastly, the chapter 5 it consists of writing your conclusion and recommendations. And those are very, very crucial because the conclusion is something which is weighted by the public. The recommendations are very, very crucial because the public needs to know what is recommended from your research. And finally, you will need to write appendices which consist of references and timetable, budget, and annex. Now let's go step by step through this research process, step by step. Number 1, this is under chapter 1 introduction. Number 1, you need to identify your research problem. This is very important, dear learner, to understand it, because each researcher he cannot start his or her research without a problem, without an issue which needs to be researched. There are 2 types of research problems. Number 1, there are those which relate to states of nature with hypothetical conditions, and those which relate to relationships between different variables. So the first type of research problem deals with the states of nature, while the second type of research deals or relates to relationships between different variables. For example, when we say that the research problem deals with or relates to states of nature, for example, one can say that the problem of poverty reduction is an issue which needs to be researched on. So the poverty reduction is a kind of type of research problem which relates to state of nature. Another example of a research problem is youth empowerment and business creation. Youth empowerment and business creation, this research problem or this problem relates to relationships between 2 variables, the youth empowerment, the first variable, and the business creation, the second variable. It is very important for you, learner, to understand or to define clearly the variables when you are dealing with a research of types which deals with relationships between variables. So in this example, there is the first variable, the youth empowerment, and another variable is business creation. And we can say that initially the researcher must recognize the problem he wants to study. That means he must or she must decide the general area of interest or a part of a subject matter that you would like to inquire into. So it is very important for you researcher to recognize, to know very well the problem that you want to study. It is very important. The most excellent way of understanding the problem is to discuss it with your colleagues or with those having some knowledge in the related matter. So you have your topic, your problem. It is very important to discuss it with your colleagues, maybe other students or other colleagues at work, so that you can get enough knowledge in the banter. In academic institution, the researcher can take the assistance of a guide who is usually an experienced person and has several research problems in his mind. So when you are in an academic setting, it is very important that you approach your lecturer, for example, and you discuss together with him or with her that research, that problem, if it will be researchable, if it is very well defined, so that the person, the guide or the lecturer can help you to get more knowledge. In a private business units or in governmental organizations, the problem is usually allocated by the administrative agencies with whom the researcher can discuss the problem originally and how it came to exist and what reflections are involved in its possible clarification. What does it mean? So you have a certain problem, research problem, which you have in your mind and which is related to government organization or to business unit. So I advise you to go and see the administrative agencies with whom you will discuss the problem. They will guide you, they will give you advice on how you can go through your research problem. Step number two, the first step, remember, it is a research problem, or how you can identify your problem. Number two deals with the title of your research, known as also the topic of your research. After defining the problem, you need to formulate the title of your research, known as topic of research or the title page. The title should be clear and precise. Statement also should be as short as possible. 10 to 12 words is ideal. 10 to 12 words is ideal. You don't need to write kilometers of words. Just be short, precise, and write in your title something which will help every person to understand what you are going to search on. When you are selecting your topic, it is important for you to consider the following things. First is to brainstorming your ideas. So you need to sit down and start to brainstorm for ideas so that they can help you to formulate a topic. You need also to make a list of keywords. So there are some words which need to be used, and there are others which you don't need to use. Some words are very crucial for your topic, for your research to be understandable and to be researched of. You need also to choose a topic which will help you to read and understand the literature review. You need also to ensure that the topic